Midnight.
Wow, that's dedication. All right.
Yeah, I
Morning,
can see
Bhante.
you
Morning, Brian.
covering up.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Okay, Bhante.
Okay, friends, let us begin our meditation first. You can look at the screen and let us begin our Metta recital. May all beings be happy and secure.
May
May all
all
beings
beings have
have happy
happy
minds,
minds,
whatever
whatever
living
living
beings
beings
there
there
may
may
be,
be,
without
without
exception,
exception,
weak
weak
or
or
strong,
strong,
long,
long,
large,
large,
medium,
medium,
short,
short,
subtle
subtle
or
or
gross,
gross, visible
visible
or
or
invisible,
invisible, living
living
near
near
or
or
far,
far,
born
born or
or coming
coming
to
to
birth,
birth,
may
may
all
all
beings
beings have
have happy
happy
minds.
minds.
Let
Let
no
no
one
one
deceive
deceive
another,
another,
nor
nor
despise
despise
anyone
anyone
anywhere,
anywhere,
neither
neither
from
from
anger
anger
nor
nor
ill
ill
will
will
should
should
anyone
anyone
wish
wish
harm
harm
to
to
another.
another.
As
As
a
a
mother
mother
would
would
risk
risk
her
her
own
own
life
life
to
to
protect
protect
her
her
only
only
child,
child,
even
even
so
so
towards
towards
all
all
living
living
beings,
beings,
one
one
should
should
cultivate
cultivate
a
a
boundless
boundless
heart.
heart.
One
One
should
should cultivate
cultivate for
for
all
all
the
the world
world a
a
heart
heart of
of boundless
boundless
loving
loving
friendliness,
friendliness,
above,
above,
below,
below,
and
and
all
all around,
around, unobstructed,
unobstructed,
without
without
hate
hate
or
or resentment,
resentment,
whether
whether standing,
standing,
walking,
walking,
sitting,
sitting,
lying
lying
down,
down, or
or
whenever
whenever
awake.
awake. One
One
should
should
develop
develop
this
this
mindfulness.
mindfulness.
This
This
is
is
called
called
divinely
divinely
dwelling
dwelling
here,
here,
not
not
falling
falling
into
into
erroneous
erroneous
views,
views,
but
but
virtuous
virtuous
and
and
endowed
endowed with
with
vision.
vision. Removing
Removing desire
desires
for
for
sensual
sensual pleasures,
pleasures,
one
one
comes
comes
never
never
again
again
to
to
birth
birth
in the
in the
womb.
womb.
With this very wonderful, wholesome state of mind, let us begin our mindfulness practice. Mindfulness practice is not limited to sitting on a cushion this time, but that is what we are supposed to do all day long, all our life long. This is very intense practice. Therefore, once again, we want to pay attention to our breathing, and while paying attention to the breath without using words, notice the breath entering through the nostrils, expanding our lung area and expanding our lower abdominal area. As we breathe out, lower abdomen contract, chest area contract, and the breath leaves the nostrils. As we breathe out and breathe in, we notice a small, brief pause, and then we notice the feeling of inhaling, exhaling, expansion and contraction of lungs, abdomen, and the breath touching the nostrils. All this we feel and we perceive. Then we pay attention, that is intentional, undivided, mindful attention, attention without greed, hatred, and delusion. Because of our mindfulness, any moment greed arises, we experience pain, hatred arises, experience pain, delusion arises, experience pain. We notice them arising, and therefore we simply notice, paying attention without greed, hatred, and delusion. And then we will see perception, thought, and consciousness, all of them, without any exception, change as we breathe in and breathe out. Feeling, perception, thought, attention, consciousness change as we breathe in, they change as we breathe out. They don't stay fixed any moment, they change as we breathe in and breathe out. They are in a state of flux, so to say, always moving, and that is the nature of sankhara. All these we call in one word sankhara. Rising is visible, discernible, passing away visible, discernible, and all duration in between rising and falling is discernible and visible. That is the nature of sankhara. When we see this reality, there is no moment for the mind to hold on to anything. Seeing the flux, change, movements, mind cannot hold on to anything. That is the, the letting go of state. It is called in Pali Nekkhamma Sankappa, thought of letting go. When they are going away, disappearing, we don't try to hold on to them and let them go. Then arises a moment of happiness, moment of metta, because our resentment, anger as a hindrance fades away. Greed as a hindrance fades away. Resentment or anger fades away. Then arises metta. As I mentioned, metta has three levels: verbal level, thinking level, and feeling level. This is the feeling level. And then arises a moment of compassion, seeing, knowing that there are millions of suffering beings. Our hearts go to them, and the compassion arises in our mind. Then seeing these three, joy arises because we see the result of our mindful practice. When joy arises, that leads to happiness. The mind becomes even calmer and relaxed and peaceful. So then the body is calm, relaxed and peaceful. The breath is calm, relaxed and peaceful. Mind is calm, relaxed and peaceful. Then arises concentration. With that concentration, we reflect back again to see the subtlest changes of form, feeling, perception, thoughts, and consciousness. This, friend, is the reality, the truth that we see as they really are. This is what is called seeing things as they really are. Things are these things: body, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness. These are the things. As they really are means as they are changing, we become aware of it. And knowing, realizing this from our personal experience, Pacchattam Veditabba, Sandittika are the words Buddha used for this state of Dhamma. Experiencing this, we continue our practice for the next 20 minutes. Dukkha patta ca nidukkha, bhaya patta ca nibhaya, soka patta ca nisoka, hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. With this, we end our metta and mindfulness section of this meditation. And I want to continue the talk that we started on. I said I would continue the talk on mentality, materiality, and consciousness. Now, mentality, materiality leads to contact, sixfold basis and contact. I mentioned the sixfold base arise when mentality, materiality arises, sixfold base arises. Eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. We see materiality, body belongs to materiality, eye, ear, nose, tongue also belong to materiality, and then consciousness belong doesn't belong to mentality. Consciousness stands by itself. Oh, so you remember that two bundles of bamboo sticks. In these two bundles, one bundle is consciousness, other bundle is mentality and materiality. In the mentality and materiality, we have feeling, perception, thought, volitional formations, and consciousness and attention. Feeling, perception, thought, volitional formations, perceptions, and attention. Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Manasikar in Pali. And then materiality group, earth, air, water, fire elements. And all these are in one group. Consciousness stays alone and communicate with both mentality and materiality. So consciousness has very special power. In the materiality mentality group, we have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and body. In the mentality, in consciousness, a separate state. Okay, then when the sixfold base arises, just like that, then arises contact. Contact has a very special place. Contact also is something we do not understand properly because it is a very complicated state. It, for when we look at it superficially, contact seems to be very simple, but in this dependent origination teaching and in our experience when we pay total, mindful, undivided attention with concentration, only then can we see how complicated contact is. Contact is the combination of three. They are called Tinna Sangati Passo. Tinna Sangati Passo. The meeting of three is called contact. And the contact is not created by oneself, nor does it created, nor is it created by somebody else, nor does it arise without cause, independently. It is dependently arisen. Contact is dependently arisen, depending on senses, six senses, because there are six kinds of contacts: eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact. Now, let us take one of these. For eye contact to arise, there must be other conditions. For contact to arise, there are three things coming together: eye, visual objects, consciousness, and then when these three meet, contact arises. Meeting of these three is the contact. Now, the contact does not arise by itself, it depends on other things. If the eye is not functioning properly, if the eye is defective for some reasons, cataract or glaucoma or whatever eye diseases, I don't know their names, due to some diseases, our eyes are not clear to reflect the image in it for seeing or for seeing to arise. Then if the objects and consciousness are not present, even though the eye is very clear, you cannot see something. So eye has to be in good shape, good condition, at least to see. And then the visual objects, even though eye is in good condition, but if there are no visual objects, contact cannot arise. Suppose there are eyes in good condition, visual objects are in good conditions, but the consciousness is not present, there is no contact. Now see the complication. The eye has to be in good shape, good condition. Form must be there in the visible distance. That is why sometimes when you listen to weather, they say visibility is 10 miles, 2 miles, foggy, and so forth. So it has to be visible distance, uh, depending on the eye conditions, weather conditions, the presence of the object, and so forth. Then, even if these are in good condition, if there is no consciousness, contact does not arise. Therefore, these three must come together. They all happen simultaneously, and all of them are in good, reasonable conditions within. And also, even if there is eye, visual objects, consciousness, if there is no light, you cannot see. So all these must come together to have contact. And this contact would emphasized in the Digha Nikaya Sutta number 1. The name of the sutta is Brahma Jala Sutta. Brahma Jala means net. Brahma Jala means Brahma's net. Here, Brahma doesn't mean some kind of deity. Just like in Metta Sutta we say Brahma Vihara, the Brahma Vihara, Brahma means the best among in the nets that we use for, people use for catching birds, catching fish, catching insects, even to prevent insects, people use nets. For instance, in summer when I walk, there are a lot of insects. I put a net on my hat, so insect will not attack me. So we use nets to prevent insects and other creatures, and also to catch creatures. Now, Buddha used this simile, contact, as to illustrate, to explain how he spread this net. Buddha spread this net to catch not the flies, not fish, not insects, but to catch views, all kind of views. In the Digha Nikaya, in Brahmajala Sutta, there are 62 views. All these views Buddha dismissed, saying that is depending on contact, that is depending on contact, that is pachapasya, tadapi pachapasya, tadapi phasapachya, tadapi phasapachya. That depends on the contact, this depends on the contact, that also depends on the contact, and so forth. He used the contact to refute, reject all these 62 views. And this net is so well knitted, well made, that all the views in the world are caught in this net. So therefore it is called Brahmajala, net of views, all embracing net of views, all embracing net of view. That is how it is translated into English. And Buddha gave a very practical simile also. He said, bhikkhus, suppose there is a fisherman or his apprentice, make a net knitted or woven with very, very fine material and with the tiniest holes like a filter, and throw that into a small pond, very little water there. But there are a lot of fish, big ones, small ones, tiny little ones, all fish there. So he put that net into the little pond with little water, and he makes sure that every fish, big or small, is caught in this net. How? And then anytime any of these fish tries to get out of the net, he will be stuck within tiny little holes. As soon as they touch the tiny holes, they give up their attempt to escape, because they know that they cannot escape through these tiny little holes. And they try to escape from through one hole. Then as soon as they touch their face, touch the net, they withdraw. Then they try another hole, and then they withdraw, and so forth. All these fish will withdraw from trying to escape. Give, they all give up. Similarly, all these views Buddha refuted using the word contact. Mentally, they contact. Now, this is called Dhamma. Dhamma is mental objects. Views are mental objects. So, then Buddha went on in the Mahanidana Sutta, also in the Digha Nikaya, Sutta number 15. Number 1 is Sutta, also Digha Nikaya Sutta number 1. And then he used another sutta called Mahanidana Sutta. Mahanidana is directly related to dependent origination. Nidana is origination, origin. Mahanidana means great discourse on origination of things. And there he said, this is, I like to quote, it was said, with mentality, materiality as condition, there is contact. With mentality, materiality, there is a contact. In the dependent origination formula of the series 12 steps, we see contact after sixfold base. You remember avijja paccaya sankara, sankara paccaya vijnanam, vijnana paccaya namarupam, namarupa paccaya salayatana, salayatana paccaya passo. Now, that is how the dependent origination for, sutta present the steps. But in Mahanidana Sutta, you can see that that step is skipped. That step is not there. Buddha directly went from mentality, depending on mentality and materiality, contact arises. Why is that? As I mentioned earlier, sixfold bases are within mentality and materiality. Sixfold bases are within mentality and materiality. When mentality and materiality arises, sixfold base also arises at the same time. And therefore, in the Mahanidana Sutta, Buddha did not mention mentality and materiality separately. What you call, I'm sorry, he did not mention sixfold bases separately. Because sixfold bases are included in mentality and materiality. When mentality and materiality arises, sixfold base arises together with that. And therefore, Buddha did not want to mention it separately in Mahanidana Sutta. Instead, he went directly, depending on mentality and materiality, contact arises. Contact arises. So he said in Mahanidana Sutta, it was said, with mentality, materiality as condition, there is contact. How that is so, he asked Venerable Ananda, how that is so, Ananda, should be understood in this way. This section I may have to repeat several times today and even tomorrow, because this is, as I mentioned at the beginning, contact itself is a complicated situation. When we explain it, when we try to explain it, you may think that it's even more complicated and more confused. Therefore, we have to repeat it several times. Now, let me start reading for the first time. If those qualities, traits, signs, and indicators which there is a description of mental body were all absent, would designation contact be discerned in the mental body? All right. Now, let me repeat this once again. If those qualities, traits, signs, indications, through which then through which there is a description of the mental body were all absent. If all of them are absent, what are the qualities, traits, signs, and indications? If they all are absent, would designation contact be discerned in the mental body? What is the mental body? Feeling, perception, thought, perception, and attention. Feeling, Vedana, perception, Sanya, Chetana, volitional formation, Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, contact, Phassa, and attention. These are together called mental body. Now, through which material body, material qualities are visible, noticeable in the mental body. What are qualities, traits, signs, and indications. They are qualities. For instance, the body is made up of elements. What are the qualities of the materiality, material body? Earth, air, water, fire. Earth qualities are hardness, sometimes softness, and occupying space. These are the qualities. If those qualities were not present at all in the material body, the mind or mental body cannot notice the material body. Similarly, if they are called qualities, traits, signs, and indications. If we don't have any traits, any indication, any sign of hardness, softness, occupation, occupying the space, if they are all absent in the material body, that is in form, the mind cannot know the material body. Similarly, if these the qualities, traits, and so forth in the water element, what are the qualities of water element? They are flowing and cohesiveness, cohesion, holding together. If these qualities, traits, signs, and conditions are not present, indicators are not present, mind does not know the what you call apo element, apo what you mean water element. Because of these qualities, mind knows them. Similarly, fire elements does not have heat, does not digest food, does not age. These are the qualities of fire elements among many. And if they are not present in the fire element, the mind does not mental quality, mentally does not know the fire. Similarly, air elements has oscillation, movement. If they are not present in the air elements, mental body does not know air element. Therefore, Buddha said, if those qualities, traits, signs, indications through which there is a description of mental body were all absent, would designation contact be present in the mental body? So they are in the, on the other hand, mental body also must have the trait, signs, indications, and traits. What are the mental body? They are feeling, vedana, perception, uh, thought, volition, and then phasa, vedana, sanyam, contact, feeling, then phasa, vedana, contact, feeling, perception, thought, and attention. If they are not present in the mental body cannot know material body. They also have to be there because the mental body must have a feeling to feel the hardness of material body, feel the heat of fire element, feel the oscillation in air element, and so forth. Uh, Perception. Mental body cannot perceive any of these things. The perception is not in the mental body. So all this must be present in the mental body in order to understand the material body. So Venerable Buddha asked if they all are absent, would designation contact be discerned in the mental body? Now, Buddha divided contact into two kinds of contacts. One is designation contact, other is impingement contact. Here he talks about the designation contact. Okay, which can be seen in the mental body. If they are not absent, if they are all absent, can mean what do you call, would designation contact be discerned in the mental body? Venerable Anand said, not sadly not Venerable Sir. Then, if those qualities, traits, signs, and indicators through which there is a description of the material body were all absent, would impingement contact be discerned in the mental body? I think we can repeat it again tomorrow to make it clear, because if I rush through very quickly now, you may understand. But I simply want to mention right now, the Buddha has divided contact into, we say eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, body contact, tongue contact, body contact, and mind. 6 kind of contact. All these contacts, in addition to them, all of them divided into two: designation contact and impingement contact. So I'll explain them more in more detail tomorrow uh, to make it easier to understand. But if you do not pay total mindful attention, this explanation can be even more complicated. With this, I want to end this morning's little talk as we promised, and make our wish, daily wish, with metta. We practice metta and we practice insight meditation this morning. Our intention is to share our metta and wish all those who are in pain and suffering due to this coronavirus, and may they all be free from that pain and suffering. And those who are grieving over the death of their departed relatives and friends, millions of them are all over the world, may they be free from their grief and sorrow, lamentation. And those who have fear of moving around, visiting friends, there are many activities they have stopped and limited their movement and activities, and confined some of them to their own homes, self-quarantining and forced quarantining. All these are not just like putting oneself in prisons against their wish, and they are not very comfortable. May they all find a way soon to relieve their pain and suffering by listening to Dhamma practitioner, contacting good Kalyana Mittas through various mass media, so that they can relieve their own pain and suffering to some extent, and we want to wish them a great success. And there are many thousands of very wonderful, compassionate doctors, nurses, and their supporters who dedicate their life to help these people even at the risk of their own life. We heard some doctors have died, nurses have died because of this virus, and they have been helping them in the action. They have got virus, some of them passed away. And there are many people who are supporting them in many ways, financially and otherwise. May they all have courage, understanding, determination, and wisdom, patience to continue their wonderful, noble support, and let them be free from this disease. There are so-called leaders in every country who can make decisions. May they have wisdom, compassion, and understanding and patience to make decisions for the benefit of all these suffering beings and those who are vulnerable to this disease. And to help all of them, may they all have wonderful, wise decisions. With this, this is our earnest wish. May they all be well, happy, and peaceful. And finally, may they all attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Oh, thank you very much for joining us and participating in this uh, practice, meditation, and listening to Dhamma.